still surprised it took this long for educated people to get a little sense.
The end of prohibition is going to come. It's just at what cost?
There is a lot of Wild West.
There's definitely a lot of cannabis use in San Diego.
We are on the precipice of something absolutely huge.
The inevitability of adult use in California really makes this one of the largest markets.
Is that what we want for our children? Because mom and dad are using drugs?
It's never really been legal.
The rest of the world is watching California right now.
I don't dispute that smoking marijuana makes you feel better.
It's going to change everything.
Ooh, cannabis, ooh.
It's not as scary as everyone thinks.
California has a progressive way of thinking. They're in a lot of ways a little ahead of some of the other states.
San Diego is unique in a couple different ways.
San Diego City is the only municipality within San Diego County that has licensed medical marijuana.
San Diego's not that great a place unless you're one of these, 8 licensed shops.
So many different personality types. There's so many people with so many different agendas.
San Diego is strangely, in many ways, a conservative area. You got a lot of military.
There are so many of us, especially in a conservative area like San Diego. People seem to forget how conservative this town is. We are a military town.
There are 18 cities and the county, each their own municipality. In all of our cities, with the exception of the city of San Diego, every single one of the cities has made a decision in their own space and time and judgment to not allow marijuana dispensaries as kind of, storefront operations. As soon as 64 qualified, all the cities in San Diego took action immediately to amend their medical marijuana ordinances to say any marijuana.
In the city of San Diego, the climate is increasingly positive. The city is working hard to work with the licensed players. It's probably more of a blue city, but a red county.
The county, it's largely been trying to figure out if they're going to continue the moratorium indefinitely, or if they are going to enact new land use policies that will determine where and how many dispensaries and grow sites there can be in unincorporated parts of the county. The city attorney, in collaboration with the licensed, signed, sealed, and approved dispensaries, started an initiative to get people to buy legal medical marijuana.
We're part of the movement with the other shops. Like we're all advertising together and so forth and saying, hey, here are the licensed players. But as far as what the city's encouraging, it's just proximity. That's in the physical city of San Diego. We're not. We're in the unincorporated area of the county. The county has not done a similar thing.
And I think that a lot of people either can't tell or don't care if where they're buying medical marijuana is from a place that has, received a government permit or hasn't.
The county is much more, I don't want to use the term hostile toward cannabis, but they don't really understand it, and they are listening to a few concerned citizens who frankly have no basis for their concerns.
I'm not a zealot the way people think, that they think everyone on our side are zealots. The image of your state or the image of your community is what brings in funding that keeps your job, that you don't want to be seen as the person that's contributing to our bad reputation.
Those people that are operating in those gray areas, opening pop-up shops just to, make some money and they'll close it down and move on to the next, those guys are a disadvantage to our industry.
We want a store to go to that's legal, we can park at, we don't feel strange going inside. People are really adapting to trying to figure out which ones are the legal ones and which ones are the sketchy ones.
And so while we were out there, Eric and I walked across the street to a dispensary because in Boulder they're on every corner.
Hopefully California will see some of the positive things that we've done, from a Colorado perspective.
And Eric and I were just kind of blown away by how nice the dispensary was. The bud tenders were incredibly professional, both in their dress and in their knowledge. It was well lit. I felt like I was at an Apple store. The first dispensary I went to in San Diego wasn't fully legal. And I think my friend told me it ended up getting shut down a couple months after we went there. And when I walked into that, and it was literally, we like banged on a steel door, and you know, I was like, this is a completely different experience than what I had in Boulder. And you know, if this is what is going on in most of the dispensaries, like, we have to move light years, you know.
I knew that eventually people would find out about what's good for you, what's not good for you, what'll kill you, what'll help you. It just took a while on marijuana. People had to do a lot of research, and there was a lot of adverse publicity over here. And so until the doctors got involved and started proving that marijuana is a medicine, and people started bringing their children from thousands of miles away into Colorado for the Charlotte's Web treatment, things like that. It's brought a lot of attention worldwide over marijuana and its medicinal value.
I have a hard time, I have to say, I have a really hard time saying medical marijuana.
Personally, I believe all the use of cannabis is medicinal.
It's medicine, and it's already been proven to be medicine, and end of story.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I have this aversion to the word recreational. You know, we do work a lot with our office, our health department and they're all into things about obesity. And physical education, or PE, is now an elective. But now we're going to tell them that, oh, you don't have to take PE anymore, but you can be recreational while you smoke your pot, because smoking pot's recreation. I don't know how that word jives. Let's get kids doing more recreation, and then we want to call smoking pot recreation. And I'm just like, that just doesn't work for me. I've seen what it does to families and to kids.
We don't want to have that negative connotation associated with cannabis with the kids. Sure. We just don't. I'm hoping that this is going to be unbelievable to them when they are 18, 20, like, wow, it was really like that just that long ago, Mom. You know, you were never like that. That's so crazy that that's the way things were. That's my dream.
And I just think it's irresponsible for adults to set a tone that it's okay. It's okay.
And they have legitimate concerns. They don't want it getting into the hands of kids and so forth. Well, neither do we.
Take the care for the children. And if we just shift our thinking from, oh, but it's going to make me feel so good, and I'll be able to buy it without having to worry about anything or pretend I get headaches. We haven't been able to keep alcohol from kids. We don't keep tobacco from kids. And I just feel this, and I know it's not a popular position, but it's just this real sense of, we're supposed to be the grown-ups. We're supposed to take care of kids and make the world a better place for the next generation, not a more screwed up.
I think we knew more than what people gave us credit for knowing. I mean, we knew we were supposed to be bad people because we smoked marijuana, but we knew we weren't bad people. So we knew somewhere in there was a discrepancy that people had to realize that, wait a minute, you know, it don't make him a bad guy just because he smokes weed.
I just think it's not the right time, and this is not the right measure for California.
Oh, wave my hands. Well, we're just going to wait until what? What are you waiting for?
So I don't want to have to wait another, for another election cycle to come on and battle this again. I think that, I have to take the bad with the good and hope that as a community we're able to come together and make the changes necessary to make this a changeover that works for all of us in our industry.
So this massive, stoners against legalization movement.
I don't want to discount, the feelings of the growers. I've talked to a bunch of them, and I really do feel their concerns. At the end of the day, they're the heart of our industry.
People say I'm a prohibitionist. Clearly, that's not the case. I want more of these gardens, not less. Nancy Pelosi said the famous, let's vote on it, pass it, and then let's see what's in it. It's putting the cart well in front of the horse here. I'm not saying that we have the perfect landscape right now under 215, but it served us for 20 years. The day of the election, we all have very important decisions to make. Everybody that can vote should vote, but it should be an informed vote. I can't waver on this. I have to inform everybody that I talk to that please read the bill. Don't believe me, don't believe Dennis Perone, don't believe High Times or the LA Times or anything else. Don't believe the leading activists that are out there or those icons, the Cheeches and Chongs and all those. Sure. Everybody that supports this has their own reasons, and I respect that. But if you dig in and you see what this bill represents to you and our community, you will not support it.
People, take the message from somebody that they trust and they go tell 10 other people. That doesn't necessarily make it true, especially if you saw it on Instagram, where there's a very limited space to explain your reasoning there, besides just posting no on 64. So yeah, it is kind of upsetting. Honestly, the price of a gram is going to go down. That's why a lot of cultivators up there are in opposition.
I think yes is going to happen. I think it's got enough money and support behind it. They have the advantage of having influence over a mass market of people who know nothing about cannabis other than what they're being told. And they're being told a lot of positive stuff they want to hear. And I have to qualify this. I'm not against regulation, so it's not necessarily going to be a bad thing. But I feel like it was an easier sell, and I kind of think it's funny that 64 is worried that it's not going to pass. I feel like there is too small of a group to really make the level of impact that the pro 64 people are worried about.
There's unlimited potential, and as California, it's like I said, it's a shame that we didn't do this first and we haven't already gotten all our ducks in a row.
I kind of feel like we're the vendors inside, the Super Bowl right before the gates open. You can hear the rumble of the people. They are coming. Do we really have all the hot dogs on the grill necessary? I think that as that there will be adjusting that happens on the way, but we're doing the best that we can in preparing ourselves and getting ready for regulations and making smart decisions and marketing the way that that we do business.
I do want to see for myself.
I hope you do.
I want to see it work, and I think it's too soon. And I worry that, I've heard the same reports you have, and I also know that for the industry, if they feel like if they can break California,
Sure.
It's no holds barred for the rest of the country.
Yes, we're by ourselves. We would be the 6th largest economy in the world. So goes California.
We've had so many negative things thrown at us about what it does to you, and the bad things that marijuana can do for you. Reefer Madness. I don't know if you remember that movie or not, but it was horrible. It made people really scared. And fear is a hard thing to overcome. So all that had to be overcome. I think people now, when they've smoked or ate a piece of candy or something, and they realize that, wait a minute, what's the big deal?
You're a California resident. This is an invasive question. Feel free to answer it or not. How are you voting on Proposition 64?
Oh, I don't think that's invasive at all. I'm perfectly happy to tell you I am voting strongly yes on Prop 64.
It's a very difficult question, and coming from I've got a lot of growers who are friends, and they're like, it's just not good enough. It's not going to do enough for us. But at the end of the day, I think I will probably be voting yes.
I think most people are down with it. Most people, you know, like me, have been waiting for this for a long time. And I think that it's kind of a very vocal but massive minority who thinks that this is going to ruin what they have going.
God, don't hate me. No. It's probably going to upset a lot of people, but my heart is in NorCal.
Oh, I'm in favor of it, 100%. I probably, I would have voted even if I wasn't in the cannabis industry.
If it passes, it passes. But I can't say I didn't go down without a fight.